Man, is that you? Yo, that gotta be you. Yo, that gotta be the next person I see I'm willing to speak to. That gotta be the person over there willing to listen and adhere to the almighty law of the Most High. That must be you. Because those who come over here, you know what I'm saying, they come for the water. They come for the arm. They know that the Most High's plan is sitting right in their palm. The words of man can be seen through the work of his hands. And when you look up in the sky, you see the master plan. Brethren, sisters, I humbly welcome you and thank you for coming to the mountain in the field, for vibrating in the most highest vibration that you could ever be, for vibrating in the excellent praise of the Most High. Because you could be anywhere right now, but I'm glad you're here with me. You could be doing anything right now, but I'm glad you're here with me. You know, through life you go through many things. You go through your ups, you go through your downs, you go through your trials, you go through your triumphs. But brothers and sisters, I want to humbly say that the trial or the triumph, you should either laugh or cry over it. You should be glad you experienced it. Because either a trial or a triumph is going to teach you a lesson. And so whatever lesson you've been learning right now throughout your life, I know for a fact that you will make it through it. I know for a fact that this pruning process that you're going through when you're fully pruned, if I may say that, the fruit in which you will bear for not only yourself but for your family, for your tribe, and most importantly for the Most High, will be something that you never could have imagined, because it'll be so great, it'll be greater than anything you might have fathomed. So again, I want to humbly send across my thanks, my Todah, for my Shabbatah, because people, as Shemites, we are the rest of the world, and most importantly, we are the rest for the Most High. We are the scepter in which His kingdom flows through. We are the staff of His will. We are the right arm of His everlasting power. And so when we understand that, we know that when we sit back and humbly relax ourselves and become at rest, that's when we know that we as Shemites are simply the best. So that being said, we have another installment over here on this lovely channel, and as you can see from the title of the video, we'll be discussing the liver. Yes, that beautiful organ or gland, whatever you want to call it, that sits beautifully inside of your body, that has so much potential, so much unlocked wisdom that's inside of it that us as mere men have no understanding of what it can do truly for us. But with that being said, let's dive deeper and realize the power that dwells within us. I'll be reading, at first, I'll be reading an article from medicalnewstoday.com. The article was written by Tim Newman and reviewed by Elaine K. And after I read the article, I'll be delving into, what we do over here on this channel. We get scriptural, we get metaphysical, we get spiritual, we get astrological. Excuse me if I mispronounce that word. We get so much more vibrational out of just in the physical state of man. But I'm gonna just get this out of the way real quick. Then we get to the fun stuff at the end, or in the middle, or whatever you want to say it is. That being said, let's get it. The liver is the largest solid organ and the largest gland in the human body. It carries out over 500 essential tasks needed for the body. The liver is classed as part of the digestive system. The roles of the liver include detoxification, protein synthesis, and the production of chemicals that help digest food. The liver weighs between 3.17 and 3.6 pounds, or between 1.4 and 1.6 kilograms. The liver is reddish brown with a rubbery texture. It is situated above and to the left of the stomach and below the lungs. The skin is the only organ heavier and larger than the liver. The liver is roughly triangular and consists of two lobes, a larger right lobe and a smaller left lobe. The lobes are separated by the falciform ligament, a band of tissue that keeps it anchored to the diaphragm. A layer of fibrous tissue called Glissen's capsule covers the outside of the liver. This capsule is further covered by the peritoneum, a membrane that forms the lining of the abdominal cavity. This helps hold the liver in place and protects it from physical damage. Unlike most organs, the liver has two major sources of blood. The portal vein brings in nutrient-rich blood from the digestive system, and the hepatic artery carries oxygenated blood from the heart. The blood vessels divide into small capillaries, with each ending in a lobule. Lobules are the functional units of the liver and consist of millions of cells called hepatocytes. Blood is removed from the liver through three hepatic veins. The liver is classed as a gland and associated with many functions. It is difficult to give a precise number as the organ is still being explored, but it is thought that the liver, as we've mentioned before, carries out 500 distinct roles. The major functions of the liver include bile production. Bile production helps the small intestine break down and absorb fats, cholesterol, and some vitamins. Bile consists of bile salts, cholesterol, bilirubin, electrolytes, and water. The liver also helps in absorbing and metabolizing bilirubin. Bilirubin is formed by the breakdown of hemoglobin. The iron released from the hemoglobin is stored in the liver or bone marrow and used to make the next generation of blood cells. The liver also helps in supporting blood clots. Vitamin K is necessary for the creation of certain coagulants that help clot the blood. Bile is essential for vitamin K absorption and is created in the liver. If the liver does not produce enough bile, clotting factors cannot be produced. Bile breaks down fats and makes them easier to digest. The liver also helps in the metabolizing of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are stored in the liver, where they are broken down into glucose and siphoned into the bloodstream to maintain normal glucose levels. They are stored as glycogen and released whenever a quick burst of energy is needed. The liver stores vitamin A, D, E, K, and B12. It keeps significant amounts of these vitamins stored. In some cases, for several years worth of vitamins is held as a backup. The liver stores iron for hemoglobin in the form of ferritin, ready to make new red blood cells. The liver also stores and releases copper. The liver also helps metabolize proteins. The bile which the liver produces helps break down proteins for better digestion. The liver also helps filter the blood. The liver filters and removes compounds from the body, including hormones such as estrogen and aldosterone, and compounds from outside of the body, including alcohol and other drugs. The liver is part of the mononuclear phagocyte system. It contains high numbers of Kupffer cells that are involved in the immune activity. These cells destroy any disease-causing agents that might enter the liver through the gut. Albumin is the most common protein in blood serum. It transports fatty acids and steroid hormones to help maintain the correct pressure and prevent the leaking of the blood vessels. The liver is what produces this beautiful protein known as albumin. The liver also helps in the synthesis of, family, I'm gonna need y'all help with the pronunciation of this word, but I'm gonna try. Angiotensinogen. There we go. This hormone raises blood pressure by narrowing the blood vessels when altered by production of an enzyme called renin in the kidneys. One of the main functions of the liver, which it has been touted for, that no other organ or no known organ in the body, there might be some things inside your own body which you don't know are happening, but not to get too far off the road. But one thing that the liver is known for is regeneration. Because of the importance of the liver and its functions, they say evolution, but I'm gonna say the creator has ensured that it can regrow rapidly as long as it is kept healthy. This ability is seen in all vertebrates from fish to so-called humans. The liver is the only visceral organ that can regenerate. It can regenerate completely as long as a minimum of 25% of the tissue remains. One of the most impressive aspects of this feat is that the liver can regrow to its previous size and ability without any loss of function during the growth process. In mice, if 2/3 of the liver is removed, the remaining liver tissue can regrow to its original size within 5 to 7 days. In so-called humans, the process takes slightly longer, but regeneration can still occur in 8 to 15 days. An incredible achievement given the size and complexity of the organ. Over the following weeks, the new liver tissue becomes indistinguishable from the original tissue. The regeneration is helped by a number of compounds, including growth factors and cytokines. Some of the most important compounds in the process to appear is hepatocyte growth factors, insulin, transforming growth factor, alpha, epidermal growth factor, interleukin 6, or norepinephrine. In order to properly take care of one's liver, there are a few things that can help keep your liver working as it should. 1. Diet. As the liver is responsible for digesting fats, consuming too many can overwork the organ and disturb it from other tasks. Obesity is also linked to fatty liver disease. Hear me out, family. As the liver is responsible for digesting fats, consuming too many can overwork the organ and disturb it from other tasks. Obesity is also linked to fatty liver disease. So many things in the standard American diet, otherwise known as the SAD eating syndrome, is we're inundated with, fatty substances. We're inundated with things that create an obeisance to unhealthy forms of intake of life. And these, substances which we intake inside of our body, they cause our diets to be in disarray. When in many forms of what we need homeostasis. We need balance. We need not too much of this, not too little of that. But in all understanding, what we truly need is the Most High. Well, let's get some more info. To also take care of your liver, avoid consuming more than 2 drinks at a time. Drinking too much alcohol causes cirrhosis of the liver over time. When the liver breaks down alcohol, it produces toxic chemicals such as, help me again out with this word, family, I'ma try, acetaldehyde and free radicals. Excuse me if I mispronounced that word, but I tried. For serious damage to occur, it takes the equivalent of a liter of wine every 20. For serious damage to occur, it takes the equivalent of a liter of wine every day for 20 years in men. For women, the threshold is less than half of that. So, avoid illicit substances. When last surveyed in 2012, close to 24 million people in the United States had consumed an illicit, non-medical drug within the last month. These can overload the liver with toxins. Some prescription drugs and natural remedies can interact negatively when mixed. Mixing drugs with alcohol puts significant pressure on the liver. For example, combining alcohol, help me out again with this word, family, acetaminophen can lead to acute liver failure. Be sure to follow the instructions on any medication. Protection against airborne chemicals. When painting or using strong cleaning or gardening chemicals, the area should be well ventilated or a mask should be worn. Airborne chemicals can cause liver damage because the liver has to process any toxin that enters the body. Remember, as I said, family, the liver is right next to the lung, right next to the stomach, and close to the kidneys. So anything that's coming through your body is going through your liver. And one of the tasks of those 500 tasks that the liver has is to filter out anything that comes through your body, whether through your breath, through your mouth, even through your skin, or even through your ears, whatever. Just know that your liver plays a huge role in the maintaining of the health of your body. Also, have safe sex. And the safest sex, is abstinence. Because, the Most High gave us His commandments for a reason. And without His commandments, us as a nation, as Shemites, we are lost. We have been lost. But, this is the remembering time. This Zakor, are you done? The time of remembrance. We gotta, get back to the commandments, what made our people great in the past. What made our understanding elevated, that we weren't like any of the other nations. Because not necessarily about skin color, but skin color is important. It's not necessarily about your hair texture, but your hair texture might be important. It's not necessarily about, the physical, but the physical is important. But what the Most High is looking for is the mindset. Is a mind willing to operate His operating system, willing to operate the body in which He formed. Because without the breath, I'm not just talking about the everyday breath that you just breathe like. I'm talking about the breath that makes you want to do for the Most High, that makes you want to do for His people, that makes you want to do things for His will. Without that breath, our people, we have been lost and we are still lost. We have no balance, we have no understanding, we have no proper cadence to move in the proper music of everlasting existence. But He gave us His commandments as an inheritance for us to live good and for us to live long on the earth in which He gave us. And so, when we talk about safe sex, He said, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not commit fornication. But the world gonna do what they want to do. But if you part of the world and you can do what you want to do, just make sure you're doing what you got to do. But you already know what I said. And also, it is also said that tattoos and piercings can also help and can also aid in damaging of the liver. Avoid exposure to blood and germs. Receive medical attention if you are exposed to the blood of another person. It is also important not to share personal items related to hygiene, such as toothbrushes, and to avoid dirty needles. Despite its ability to regenerate, the liver depends on being healthy to do so. The liver can mostly be protected through lifestyle choices and dietary measures. Woo. Now that we got that fun stuff out the way, let's get more deeper into what these people over here on this channel are expecting me to spit out. So we talked about many things that the liver does. I'm saying we talked about the regeneration of the liver. We talked about the filterization process that the liver does. We talked about how the liver creates bile for your body. We talked about many things. A few things that the article didn't mention is that the liver is extremely necessary for the health of your skin, your eyes, your nose, and your ears as well. The article made mention of how the liver filterizes everything that enters into the body, but specifically, if you are someone who's been wearing glasses for a while, it's not necessarily your corneas are bad or your eyes are bad. It could be something going on with your liver. If you're someone who's been having hearing problems, like you're deaf, or you might have tendonitis or something like that, it might not necessarily be like something is blocking it, but it is something blocking it. But the reason why there's nothing is not moving from your ear canal throughout your digestive system to get out your body is because the filterization process, there's something blocking it. There's something that you're doing physically, spiritually, mentally, metaphysically, that's blocking your health from coming into your life. And now, many things around us, we think that we have an understanding of, we think that we have a proper vibration of what we're going through, but then we realize that we know nothing about ourselves. Because if we knew something about ourselves, we know how to properly take care of ourselves. We know how to probably be with one another. We know how to appreciate the law that was given to man by the Almighty Creator. You see, if you were paying attention, the liver, as it spoke about, the way in which you care about it is by adhering to the ether, to the codex of existence. Some men call it the law. I call it the power of existence. I call it the most simplest form of life, but some men make it the most difficult form of life. See, the law wasn't given to man for man to become restricted by it. On contrary, it's actually the opposite. The law was given to man for man to become free. And the way to take care of the liver is by taking care of the law within thee. You see, the Most High, He's the one that formed and made your body. Now, as you can realize from the vibration I'm kicking off on this channel, you know what side I'm on. You know what energy formed and made me, because I talk about it very fervently. You see, we can read scriptures like Titus 3:5, where it talks about the regeneration of the body. Just like how your liver regenerates, so can your being, so can your spirit, so can your everlasting essence regenerate. See, a lot of you can be deteriorated. Like, you can go through life, you can go through ups and downs, you can go through trials, you can go through tribulations, you can go through obstacles. But those obstacles, when you lean back and realize that your hedge of protection is already there, preparing and protecting you and putting you on a new plateau for you to realize what you have inside of you, you realize that, those obstacles are just molehills or just stepping stones for you to reach the kingdom with is inside. We can go into Proverbs, we can see how, the Most High says, a man who drinks excessively, excuse me while I paraphrase, but a man who drinks excessively is stupid. A drunkard, a man who is an increasing drunkard, cares not about his own body. We know that to be true because as we read and as we spoke about and as we discussed, one way that you deteriorate the functions of the liver is by excessive drunkenness and by excessive illicit substances, and also by excessive ink being plastered all over your body, and also excessive sexual misconduct, if I might just put it that way. Because everything that happens to your body, the liver is filtering it. And so, when we talk about, sexual sin, we know that all sins restrict the body from its proper function. If you do certain things, it's going to restrict you from being able to live a longer life than you would have been able to live. But sexual sin is more internal, and I hope a lot of you know why. Because as we read from the scripts, sexual sin happens inside of your body. It's not something that you do outwardly, it's happening inside of you. We're all adults here, we're all forming our own opinions on life, so we understand why that happens. And so someone else's problems, someone else's quote-unquote demons, someone else's spiritual misconduct, when you intertwine your essence, when you intertwine your body with that person, you end up losing your glory. Because you then attune your vibration to the vibration of someone else who does not love you like you do, who does not care for you like you do, who does not have the vibration and the want to help be there for you when times are rough, when times are going bad, when times don't look as bright as they used to. And so as we look around this world, we're inundated with sexual, not just sexual, but all types of misconduct. But sexual is more prevalent. And so we look around, we see, most of our people, most Shemites who have no understanding of what they're going through or no understanding of who they are. I'm saying, our people, we're the most beautiful. I make no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Our mind, our bodies, our features, our men and our women are both wanted by other nations of people. And so because his loins aren't girded with the law, with the protection of the Most High, he drops his pants anytime anyone asks him to. And because the woman is of the man, the woman follows his vibration. So you can't look at a woman and call her a thought without calling a man Thotimus. You see, the man sets the vibration for the world. And since the man has no glory, the man has no honor within him because he has no law within him, his innermost being, which is his liver, his heart, his kidneys, they'll become hurt by his lifestyle, which he's choosing to manifest upon himself. See, when we look at the Hebrew word for liver, we get kabod. When we look at the word for glory and honor, we also get the word kabod. We also get a heavy stone or heavy weight, or just heavy or weight. Now you might be asking yourself, how do these words correlate? Because the glory of the Most High is a weight that other nations can't carry. Because the Most High, he has his children on this earth. He created this world for his children. He created this world for the manifestation and the glory of his children. Everything in existence is to serve his children. All he just asks is for his children to say thank you. So the weight of the Most High is honor and glory that can be manifested inside of your body and outside of your body, which you can help bring understanding to one another. You see, it's not what comes into someone that defiles them, it's what comes out. The difference between a king and a peasant is not necessarily material gifts, but sometimes a king, he's known for his wisdom, while a peasant is known for being stoddish. And so that wisdom that a king pushes out is his honor and his glory. Because a king in his right mindset is an example for other men amongst his tribe to follow as well. When we look at David, David was a man from the Most High's heart, of the Most High's heart as well. He was a great man amongst the people. He fought for the nation. He helped heal the nation. He was a lawyer for the nation. But although he was all these things, David still had his downfalls. And so when we analyze the life of David, we see his ups and his downs. We see his downs when David had his sexual misconduct, when David was a bloodthirsty man. And because of those things, David, his children, didn't know how to take care of his kingdom that they inherited. Because, that sexual misconduct, people call it karma. But karma is something that just manifests based on what your parents gave to you. See, because your parents didn't take you out of the situation that they were in, they helped manifest that towards you. And so we see that in the parentage of the scriptures. Just like we see the faults of David, we can also see the triumphs of him. Because David, when he sinned, he picked himself back up and he regenerated his mindset. Although parts of his physical and his spiritual mindset was cut off by him going back to and drawing back to his power source, which is the Most High, he gained and regenerated power within inside of himself for him to continually lead Israel and Judah back to the proper worship of the Most High. See, the Most High doesn't necessarily need you, but he wants you, and that's the big difference. He wants you to be at peace. He wants you to be at rest. He wants your body to be able to regenerate itself. And there is no greater regenerator, and there is no generator outside of the Most High. And so when David was triumphing, when David was in the nation doing his thing, also he passed it on to his children as well. He passed on a beautiful kingdom. He passed on a beautiful inheritance, which was the law, which was the understanding of the law. He passed on many riches. So when we look at his life, we see the good and we see the bad. But David's glory, David's kabod, we could see in his liver. Not to go too far of it, but there's something that men of antiquity used to do. It's not something that I would do personally, but it's something called haruspex. Now many of you probably looking around like, huh? Who? Where? What's that? Now haruspex is something that was spoken about in the scriptures, where the priest of Egypt would literally cut out someone's liver. And basically when they do that, they would ascertain certain information about their lives. And they would do some other things with it as well. But it's not necessary for that video for me to dive into the idolatry of the other nations. It's not something that Israel should have been doing. It's not something that anyone else should have been doing. But the fact that they were able to, get some information from someone's liver and to see their life shows you that your liver is literally the codex. It writes down everything that you've done in your life. From this small little, not small, but from this 3-pound organ, you're telling me that my whole life, my thoughts, my blood, everything has been filtered through this nice little organ. I call it little again, but through this organ of music. And if this organ of music is so important, why are we not taking care of it? See, I know as above, so below. And as we know, our language, our inheritance, shows us many things. When we look at the moon, we know that the moon regenerates itself. It goes from crescent to full moon. all in the spans of days. Just like your liver does the same thing. It moves with the tides and it makes itself known within inside of you. It helps take care of you. It helps move you and bring your body back to pure health. And maybe, I don't know, just maybe, our ancestors knew that. Our ancestors knew that the power in these stars is the power within inside of us. Because we are Shem. We are from what people call quote unquote heaven. And so if in heaven, follow me for a second, there's a filterization system. So the people from heaven will have the same thing. But if the people from quote unquote heaven don't remember that they're actually heavenly, then their bodies will not be functioning in the proper realm in which it was created in. And so if you don't adhere to the law of the Most High, if you go away from His understanding, if you go away from His commandments, which are not just something to tell you stop, but there's something to tell you go. There's something to make you grow and become better than you were before. See, this organ, this beautiful note player of music, is made to take care of you. To show you an example of who you really are. You know, when we look at the sky, Rakaya, as my people call it, we know that we see a representation of ourselves as people. We know as we look at Shemites, we know that we see the intelligence that comes from above the Shamayim, from above the firmament, being manifested inside of walking, talking, breathing beings, i.e. our people. You know, and we see the beautiful blue. You know, when we look at the color blue, it ignites emotions and feelings of stillness, calmness, and everlasting peace within inside of our own minds. When we look at the sky, we see the moon. We know that the moon goes through its phases, and as the moon goes through its phases, we know that the liver also goes through its phases inside of your body. And so maybe, you know, if your body is at stillness and peace, everlasting peace, which comes from the law, which comes from the love of the Most High, which comes from the love for His people, maybe you wouldn't be stuck here in this vibration no more on earth with all these other nations, but you go back to where you're truly from, which is above the firmament, where there is true rakah, where there is true light, where there is true understanding. Because, you know, we see in the scriptures, it says, in my Father's house are many mansions, but, you know, these mansions come at a price, come at a cost, which means understanding of my word. Which means understanding of what I told you. Which means understanding of the Son, which means understanding of order, which means understanding of His true covenant, which is given from Adam, through Abraham, through Isaac, through Jacob, through the kings of Cyril, through the prophets of Israel, and now bestowed upon the nation in which it is coming back to remembrance of itself. And so we know when we look at the beautiful sky, we know that people that study the Talmud, the Kabbalah, they call it the Teshlet. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm not above correction. When this border, this blue border that surrounds the sky, we know that it also takes place within our minds. I can go so much deeper on that. I can make a whole little another video about that, but I'm gonna stay on topic for this one. We know that the color blue brings stillness and peace. We also know that when we see rainbows, when we see all the spectrums of light and color being shown to us in this dimension, we know that there's an intention pushing through light through the prism, which is called the sky. And this prism that's being shown to us is to let us remember that there is a covenant, there is an understanding that's still up there for us to see. And so that when we see the visible light, we know that there's much more for us to see. Because we come from a place where there is no restriction. The only people that need to be restricted are the wicked. And so when we look around as people, we see ourselves in this. We see ourselves in the hood. We see ourselves with this mindset which we don't know how to take care of one another. Which we don't know how to take care of one another. We know that we're restricted. We know that we're not living up to our proper standard as a people. If you can't even take care of your physical liver, how can you take care of the liver that you can't even see right now? Because your body, this 3D dimensional physical plane, is just a manifestation of things that's going on in different realms that you don't even see. Man, I told you that's 500 different tasks, and only a few of them are known to man. Only a few. Much more to learn, my people. You know, we'll get there one step at a time. Oh, how beautiful it is. Oh, how beautiful it is to be at Shalem with the Most High and His children. Thank you for listening. Thank you for breathing with a brother. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time out to find better health for yourself. And thank you just for being yourself. I wish you the best in all that you do. I ask that when you look around and you look at your people, you see the remembrance of the covenant, which is the law, which made manifest in the health of your liver. And most importantly, you remember the covenant and the vibration of the Creator who created you. Again, thank you for your beautiful energy. Thank you for your time. Shalom.